Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you can hear me all right. We are Jaws Coffee Chat, and we are here today for mental health awareness. Um, we have with us our illustrious leader, Jennifer A. Whitaker from Jaws Coffee Chat. And we always like to give a special thanks to some great folks for replaying our shows on their platforms. Zach Clayton of the PACT channel, Jay Stoyan of the Disability channel, and Lawrence Wingate of Wingate Studios. We definitely appreciate their support and participation. I'm Jay Oberkirsch of Oh My VA Admin Services, and let's get straight to our conversation. Jennifer, take it away. Can't hear you.
I guess I was talking to myself.
Okay, there we go. Yay! I was worried about technology there for a second.
Nah, no big deal right now. Hey, everybody, welcome to another show. Sorry that we've been offline for a while. We kind of went offline a little bit early in 2023. It was December or November. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, it's because I, as the host, um, was in an accident. And as a result of the injury and some things I experienced, there were emotional traumas and so forth, I reached out to my different resources, different people I know, searches on the internet, and other ways um, of finding information on ways that, even though I'm disabled, I'm on disability, that I could have my own place to live without having to depend on my family to pay bills like for my cell phone or my internet or my rent and so forth. Now, these are programs that I'm going to talk to you about, which vary from county to county, state to state, and so forth. So, the ones I know of have to do with living in Fort Bend County in my zip code, and which is also in the state of Texas in the Houston area. So, some of the programs are statewide, like the CEAP, that's a program that will pay electricity uh, for someone who is on Medicaid, supplemental security income, has SNAP already, and a few other programs that are for those that are actually in poverty and not necessarily a struggling um, working class. Um, Now that means that your income to be on SSI, supplemental security income, means your income has to be less than $900 a month. So some of these programs are only made for those of us who are actually the most needy. And that is one of them, which is the CEAP program in the state of Texas that covers the electric bill and potentially uh, other bills. There's also, I know in the Houston area, the GCACC, that's a nonprofit, gcacc.org, that helps pay rent for those who are on disability. But that program can go to those who work full time in minimum wage jobs and other reasons that are in poverty and unable to sustain housing or get housing, but are not necessarily disabled. Um, the gcacc.org also has an advocacy program for those who have been a victim of some kind of crime that the government did not embrace action, such as, let's say, you've been abused or you were raped or whatever, and you report it to the cops, whether that's the county police or it's the city police. But then nothing was done about it, or for some reason that there was no charges against the person that hurt you. Now, this has to be an accurate, real crime that actually happened and not just say somebody touched you and you called it an assault. Um, but they are advocates for those of us where basically the system has failed us. We have not been protected from some kind of crime. And so the advocacy side of it is a department of the gcacc.org will help you work with some kind of legal system, like a lawyer or something, even if it's covered by the state of Texas fees, while you're suing the state of Texas or so forth. That's a way that you can go with a be in disability, on a supplemental security income, be on Medicaid and so forth, that shows you're truly in poverty and cannot afford what you actually need. And in this case, you get a provost or something like that. It's a lawyer that will actually prosecute the state for you, but they're paid by taxes. And if you go for the state, your winnings will be financial, and there will be compensation for all you went through and all you suffered as a result of their failure. If you go for criminal, you're actually going in the intent to charge and arrest the whoever that did that something to you. That's what the state failed to protect you from, that somebody. There's other programs I have found out. Like, a lot of people know about SNAP for food. However, not many people know that if you're also on Medicaid, you can get a waiver program that will help get, and this one actually could be US wide, nationwide, but different states have different Medicaid programs. But at least the one I know of in Texas, the Medicaid program will do an application for you for a waiver program that's for those who have disabilities that cannot do certain responsibilities that come with having your own place. Like, let's say, getting to your medical appointments. Well, they'll provide you free rides to medical appointments. You have to schedule it 2 days in advance on their app, but still, that the initial point is to call the service number on the back of your Medicaid card and to ask, how can you get rides to your doctor's appointments? Surprising enough, I found out that includes stuff that's not a quote doctor's appointment, such as a group therapy. Okay, well, that's not a doctor, but it's something medical. Or a ride to get the lab order that my doctor ordered. Well, it's not the actual doctor's appointment, but it's something I need in order to uh, further see the doctor for him or her to do whatever treatment or figure out what treatment to do. So it still falls under medical, even though they're not a medical doctor. And they typically say it's used to go to doctors. But they give a broader definition based off what the doctor requires or needs in order to do the treatment of some kind. And you can get rides to those places, like, so you had to get an MRI done or whatever, that's based off what your doctor ordered, but isn't the actual doctor's appointment. And there's a long list of other information. Like, I'm thinking of um, the the Medicaid program that's a waiver. Also, in my case, because of the fact that with my history of epilepsy, I'm not allowed and never have been allowed to be around a stove. So they're also providing me free hot meals already cooked and ready to eat. I see you smelled it, EJ.
Nice. I'd like that.
Well, one thing is you don't get to pick what your food is.
That is true.
So that's a give and take situation. But, it's give and take. So another thing is, because of my limitations of where I have zero tolerance to stress, that's the ultimate of why I'm defined as disabled. um, and unemployable, they even send somebody to help with the maintenance of my apartment, like the cleaning. So basically, it's kind of like a free maid service, but it's based on need base of what I actually can and can't do, and they only pick up the part that I can't do. So whether it's medical or it's physical inability, they do what I cannot do. It's not what I don't want to do; it's what I cannot do.
Yeah.
And there's other ways they help, like the caretaker can also be somebody who takes you to your different daily activities. So just for me, the free rides as far as Medicaid are involved, their medical would not take me to the gym. But because I have Medicaid and Medicare, I have a Medicare Advantage plan that pays for me to have a gym. So the waiver program also covers for me to get somebody to take me to my daily activities, which could be the gym. It could be going to the grocery store. It could be going anywhere that I want or need to go. Now, they do restrict how many hours caregivers are required to provide to each individual that's on Medicaid, and that has to do with how bad or disabling your condition or multiple conditions are. Uh, so, say with the way that the everyday I can make my bed and certain other things um, that are responsibilities I can do, yeah, I'm expected to do and they won't do. They won't even be allowed to do. It's not just something they won't be required to do. Because otherwise, it'd be like, right, the system is taking advantage in ways you don't actually need.
Yeah. Which would
So,
limit what they could do for you when you really needed it. If there's a
right,
time allotment of what they can
right.
do.
And as you probably know, EJ, with the story of what happened on November 14th, where I got hit by an Uber car, um, I mean, it hit my head, so I lost my memory. I lost my cognitive functioning. I even, for a certain point, lost my physical ability to walk. I became paralyzed. And at the time that Medicaid was doing the assessment, I still had not yet to get my memory back. So she asked me, well, where is your, like I told her how I got a CPAP. Um, and she asked me where was this case that they brought it in and the directions that said how often to clean different parts of the CPAP. And when she was here, I was like, it's in a black case. I know it looks like, and then I said, I think it's in my, I said, I know it's in my closet. And I go in there, I look and I can't find it. I look in my closet, exactly what I remembered. And then I went for a second, like, where you check, well, where else could it be? I never found it. But yet something stuck that I knew it was in my closet, but I couldn't actually find the item. So that was a memory impairment. Because even if you know it's in the closet, if you can't find it, that's a disabling way that has to do with the decline of the memory. Or at least some kind of association of the memory has it, but it can't communicate with the other side of the brain to correlate and to say go to this part of the closet or
Right.
this shelf or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was still, it had to do with neurological, like everything's with me, it has to do with the brain, but it was considered disabling because in that case, I could get myself sick because I don't know how to clean my CPAP. Like, which ones are what weekly, what part is monthly, what parts. And so that's one of the things that you're going to have the caregiver do is basically help keep up with stuff and they have to pick up on what's my system of what kind of stuff goes where, the way I keep
Right.
it. And part of what they will do will be helping me access or possibly even rearrange so I can more easily access what I cannot remember where to find, but is actually medically necessary or for hygiene reasons necessary.
Do you find it helpful to make a note of where things are?
So
Like
that's
have
one of the things
a
they have her
log?
do. That's one of the things they
Okay.
have her do because the way I'm like, I know here's all my medications, but I can't remember what's my milligrams.
Right.
So they have me bring all the bottles and they are going to have this lady organize it in our organizers and write a list that says what milligrammage of what medication, how many times a day. And anyways, so the idea is that they're going to have her write that log.
Okay.
Because if I can't remember certain information, how do I write it?
Right.
So that's where
Yeah, but if
linking.
you put something somewhere, can you add to the list and say, okay, this is now here?
Probably because, like they said, she's going to write a list and then stick it on the wall that's next to my bed, where I
Yep.
particularly keep my organizer with my medication and all.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure if it's one sheet and then I get more, we can add another sheet below, or
Yeah.
maybe next to it, or whatever, depending on how long it gets. But still, that it may not be very appealing in terms of um, the interior design of the place, right? Because you
Right.
don't want all this personal information all over the wall. But it does make it more accommodated to my need. But at the same time, if I'm renting the place, I'm not worried about the market value beyond making sure I don't do damage.
Right.
Just sticking like a thumbtack that holds a piece of paper on, most apartments don't have a problem with that. So that's just a little starter because we're around the time as far as this very short promo that EJ and I are able to do after a few difficulties as we are switching platforms again.
Yep.
Because apparently we found out everybody, our show we did from HCC, Houston Community College, the last two sessions, they couldn't find it. We couldn't find it. Guess what? It never went on YouTube.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Not just them. It actually never went on YouTube.
Yeah.
So y'all missed out on a couple of shows from Houston Community College about mental health and some other stuff. But as long as this is live on YouTube, you see it, you got it.
Yep. And luckily we have some transcripts so we can hopefully re-establish those two and have them talk about those again.
Yes, we're going to try to see if John, our web designer, can add it to our blog. So at least you can find it by going to the newsletter or blog page of either of our websites. But some news is that, hey, we are at the final stages of having jawscoffeechat.com.
All right.
Two websites. And the jensbooksandmore.com is being redone to be a retail store. And we're getting some new products to put in that retail as well. It won't just be the books.
2024 is starting off right. Getting things back in line.
It already has. We've been growing and we appreciate it. And we appreciate all that each of you do that watch this or listen to it or post it, reply, all the different ways you can respond and react to these. Y'all are the reason that we are growing, and we will continue to bring you more shows, including part of the starting 2024 right is starting some new shows.
Right.
They're coming. We're in the planning stages, but we got y'all more shows to come.
Stay tuned. Definitely stay tuned. Do you have any quick announcements other than what we've just said there, that we've got some stuff coming on the websites and changes there? Do you have anything else coming up?
The only other thing is, hey everybody, we're looking for you to go to projectdiehard.com and please start sponsoring them. They're a client. They help keep this podcast going, but also they are a struggling organization that needs donations in order to keep their lights on and their water bills paid and other things related to the facilities they have to service veterans. So especially if you're one that cares about veterans, please go to projectdiehard.org and become a sponsoring Patreon. ProjectDiehard.org. That's it, Chris.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Well, thanks to everybody for joining us today, either live or on our rebroadcasts. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or like and share our various multimedia or social media locations. And we also, which website do we want them to go to at this point? Is it the jensbooksandmore.com to find out more about our other programs?
Jens Books and More, jensbooksandmore.com is to see the works that's in work of bringing them a retail store. And jawscoffeechat.com is to see the podcast of the shows and how they can even sponsor us or even be on the show.
Excellent. All right, everybody, that's it for us today. So until next time, which will be Monday, Central Time 2:30, Eastern Time 3:30. Any other time, you'll have to calculate it yourself. But next Monday, come find us again. Until then, everybody, we wish you a productive and enjoyable week. Take care. Bye-bye.